but we don't have to instantly
No,
do
it's
it.
okay. So
So
what's go ahead. Let's start with
yeah,
what you think about the visit, the surprise visit to the
a, a lot of leftists give me this, but
okay.
I'm really glad a really fascistic, imperialist, capitalist threat is kept back, from the Western social democracies. I like that. I mean, Ukraine's a fairly liberal country, and
Yeah,
is this like petrolocracy, this just a gas autocracy, and I really do like to see that, much to the dismay of a lot of online leftists. So here it is: Warsaw, Poland, Associated Press. This article is from. So President Joe Tuesday warned of hard and bitter days ahead as nears the 1 year mark, which is within 3 days, but vowed that no matter what, the United States and allies will not waver in supporting the Ukrainians. Just a few more paragraphs here.
okay.
A day after his surprise visit to Kyiv, used a strongly worded address in neighboring Poland to praise allies in Europe for stepping up over the past year and to send a clear message to President that NATO will not be divided and we will not tire. 1 year ago, the world was bracing for the fall of Kyiv and said before a crowd of thousands outside Warsaw's royal castle, "I can report, Kyiv stands strong, Kyiv stands proud, it stands tall, and most important, it stands free from Rosneft oligarchs." Anyway, with each preparing spring offensives, that's when really going to go down. Insisted there will be no backing down from what he's portrayed as a global struggle between democracy and autocracy.
Yeah.
Though polling suggests American support for ongoing military assistance appears to be softening. So, as this war drags on, and honestly, I really do think it's going to go on for a few years at the very least.
Yeah.
Americans are fed up with just sending aid over to foreign countries but not getting it here in and of themselves. And I don't mean to shit on the American people here, but so suddenly now you care about the U.S. sending foreign aid. I typically don't hear people complain about Israel or Saudi Arabia, who's perpetuating a genocide in Yemen, or Chile, or pretty much the entire global South. We've, installed dictators in, and we've done all this lunatic interventionist foreign policy. Every autocrat we've propped up, never hear about it from American people. But when it comes to fending off capitalist imperialists, suddenly everybody, flips their Yemen, nobody gives a around people. It's just rudimentary, the U.S.
So to go back to your beginning, is nothing but a gas station with nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
It doesn't make anything. It does grain. It sells a lot of grains to the world. But have you ever went to the mall and say, "Well, I'm going to buy this phone. Let's go iPhone 7." You never heard of that, right or wrong? So
no. It's just Silicon Valley products, and everybody buys it.
Yeah. So is owned by the oligarchs here, by about 20, 30 people. They own the wealth of that country. The reason that the war is not the Ukrainian war, it's our war, really, because was using the playbook from the 1930s that Hitler used to protect his minorities in the neighboring countries. He was doing the same thing. We got to invade this country, Georgia, because we got to protect the in the minority. We got to take Crimea. We got to, we got to protect them, and we got Moldavia. So if we don't fight him we were going to fight him in the Baltics, and in the Baltics, it's going to be a direct war between NATO, the United States, and it's going to be a worse war.
Yeah.
So what we did is we found somebody to fight and die for us. All we have to do is just give them the weapons. You understand what I'm saying here? So if the Ukrainians are willing to die and destroy the machine and drown debts and military expenditure, then we're going to do it. It's cheap. The only thing I have a problem with before I give you the mic is, let's say we say there's $4 billion worth of weapons. The problem is, when you're giving away, there's no negotiation. Let's say a tank costs like $300 million. If you bought it directly, if you were the owner. The whole idea is it's going to cost $700 million because everybody's got to make money because it's almost like a donation, but it's debt. They're going to owe us stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So a $40 billion aid is like $20 billion. Probably half of it goes stolen, overpriced weaponry, hand greasing all over the world. Now, what I think about the visit, we're going to go back and forth. I think it was a bit dangerous because imagine if something happened to Biden there. I mean, what are we going to do? Start a nuclear war? I'm convinced NATO provoked the war. Of course they did because they needed to. Let me just address him. My friend, the reason you're probably right is because he was acting up, making a lot of problems. He was interfering in the election. He was trying to destroy the NATO. He was doing a lot of outside his country. You understand what I'm saying there, Free?
Yeah.
They were trying to find a place to get him. You have to understand about Western powers. They're patient. They don't like somebody who makes a lot of noise. Like Gaddafi, they got rid of him. Saddam, they got rid of him. Is there somebody who makes a lot of noise and gives them a lot of headache? They were trying to find a place to get Putin in. They couldn't do it in Syria because they could have done it there, but they were afraid the weapons they're going to give to those mujahideen is going to be the same problem they had in Afghanistan. Then how do we collect those weapons back from these people? We don't want to teach them our weapons. So they found the right client. The Ukrainian people are willing to die. They're willing to fight. Okay, we give you the weapon. And you guys, if you die, it's your country. But they are brave. Go ahead, Free, man. But I think the Ukrainian army is a brave people. They are fighting against the biggest army machine in the world, one of the second largest armies, or probably the first in numbers. Go ahead, man.
I mean, I really don't see how NATO provoked the war because here's the thing.
Yeah.
CISTO, or it's technically pronounced Kisto, because it's Collective Security Treaty Alliance.
Yeah.
Belarus actually expanded to Poland's border before NATO absorbed Poland. And obviously by absorbed, I mean NATO members voluntarily get in because, NATO is voluntary. Was the Warsaw Pact voluntary? No. I don't think so. Yeah, no. The answer is no. So I just don't get how NATO provoked this war. I mean, NATO's done some imperialist stuff. Don't get me wrong. Especially in Libya.
When I get you, I'm going to give you some history what happened. Go ahead. Finish your thought. I don't want to... Go ahead.
Yeah, but I think not letting this, petroleum dictatorship get a foothold next to Western social democracies is a really good move, for the advance of just freedom. So go ahead.
I'm going to tell you what our failure is. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1989, they had Boris Yeltsin, a drunk guy who was weak, he had nothing, no money. Instead of embracing, bringing them inside the European fold, they don't have to be part of the European Union. It just could be just maybe 10+1. Instead of bringing the whole people and open the economy, we took all the countries around into the European Union, into NATO, and we left out. So I read did go to NATO, said he wanted to join, but they say it's a process. You have to wait. He said, "Why do I have to wait? I'm a superpower." He's arrogant a little bit. Then he went to the European Union. He wanted to join the European Union. They said, "We can't because your population is almost half the European population. They will have too much power inside they will have the same problem as Turkey. Turkey has 70 million people." So they did try. Our problem is we did isolate. We just grabbed all these small countries, grab, and we promised not to do that. When the Soviet Union, we're not supposed to even go into East Germany, and they said, "Oh, the whole idea is historically, if you look at the history of Russia, it's not an aggressive country. It's always been on the defensive. It's always been invaded by the Mongols, by the Turks, by every motherfucker. Excuse my language. By every Tom and Dick and Harry, is always on the defensive. Historically, let's just put that on the side." Okay, the whole idea is, why will Yeltsin just saw the United States go through a 20-year war with people who wear sandals and they couldn't defeat them? All of a sudden, they come out and say, "Hold my beer, let me get into a war and destroy my country's economy and military." That's why I cannot understand how he got himself into that situation as that. But we do have a lot of role to play. We isolated politically, economically, and militarily. When you have NATO all surrounding your border, it's a bit scary.
Yeah.
Look how we treat Cuba for 60 years later. We still have an embargo.
Yeah, they got really screwed over by us.
You understand what I'm saying? So we had an opportunity to bring in 1989. It was a very we could have even took their weapons. They were handed their weapons gladly if we took them in. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But what we did is it was a failure upon failure and upon failure, and always ends in war, because war makes money and conflicts make money, and that's what happened. And I think fell into the trap that Saddam Hussein fell in Kuwait when he invaded Kuwait. They did the same thing to him. They needed to find a place to get him in. They got him in there. Now they got him where they want him. Now they're gonna bleed death like they did in Afghanistan in the 1980s, if you remember. But now even worse, because they want to give real weapons to the Ukrainian, because Ukraine, is a white country, it's a Christian country, so it's okay to give them that kind of weapon and trust them with that kind of weapon instead of some Arabs running around the mountain with stingy weapons. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying they provoked it. It's a long process. But the whole idea, you're almost 70 years old, and all of a sudden you decide to expand. He's 70 years old. What the hell are you doing, man? I mean, you could have started that shit when you were in the 60s. I mean, it's weird, man.
Well, what especially gets me about this war is the rationale for it. Like, the Nazis, okay, I mean, especially in Azov, there are definitely some, like, white nationalists. But the Wagner Group was named after Kurt Wagner, who was Hitler's composer. Yeah. It was founded by Prigozhin and him, and plus like a guy with SS tattoos on his like collarbone or something.
I'm gonna play devil advocate today. Go ahead. I'm gonna be the today. Go ahead.
The DPR and LPR.
The Wagner. You want the Wagner guys? Okay. What's that? That's like the private army, right? The mercenaries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they were saying, okay, get the Nazis, get the well, the Kremlin's employing these guys, and very own caterer is the alleged owner of this guy, and now he's like going around in prisons himself saying, okay, you're going to join the Wagner Group, and if you desert, you're going to be shot. Like, they're not covering up anything now, but okay, go ahead.
Okay, look what we did in Iraq. We had Blackwater, 150,000 private armies went around Iraq, killing people and raping women and doing all that. So it's a mirror image of us. The only thing is, when we do it, it's okay. But when somebody else does it, look at them, they're crazy. No, the Wagner Group.
Blackwater was barbaric.
Yeah, it's barbaric. And still now you have Eric Prince, who is the founder and member of the Davis family. The lady who is the Secretary of Education. He's a very rich man. He has a headquarter right now in the UA. He was assassinated in the Yemeni political leaders. You can look it up. He's still for hire. So he's a terrorist or war criminal, if you want to really look at it. And we do the same thing that they do. Do we need to fight? We had to. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like wars. You don't like wars either. But I thought if we don't stop there, if we don't stop there, we'll have to stop them someplace else. And it's going to be more costly and more dangerous in the long run, because dictators they're like addicted to power and greatness and all that. He thinks he sees himself as, I think, Peter the Great, and some hero in the
he compared himself to the most expansive of the czars. It was insane. Hey, I mean, I think he's losing it, man. I really do.
He is. He's losing. Like he has plastic surgery, so his face looks like a cat. You saw him? He had plastic surgery.
But from the finest plastic surgeons in, and they can make him look a lot younger.
He used to look good. I mean, I remember he used to look, all of a sudden his face, it looks like, when you have plastic surgery, we have some women, they look like a cat. They're all to stretch out, the whole press. It's weird. You don't know how people think, because when you're a dictator or you're narcissistic, there's nobody there to say no. Remember in the beginning of the war when his head of intelligence, he was scared and shaken to talk to him on live TV. I'm like, what the is this?
Yeah,
this is the problem. There's nobody.
He was grasping onto the table and like moving his foot.
Yeah, there's nobody there to tell him no. It's going to be a long war. He keep on saying nuclear weapon. We're not scared no more. We have the same weapon he does.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you want to play that game, we'll vaporize him too. He made a mistake. Two things could happen to save. They could overthrow him in the palace, in the Kremlin, and get a new leadership. But I think it's our fault too, because we decided not to make a democracy or bring it to the fold of Western culture and Western economic. We invested in China. China is worse. Instead of investing in you understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if his economy was becoming good, they were intertwined with our economy, but all that money. Oh, what do you? He's in.
It's flickering.
This is the what do you call them? The sirens. This is passed by the planes that pass on by.
Yeah. Christ, the FSB's after me, man.
So
I mean, the SVR has tons of sources in Florida, man.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that
all right, there it is.
First of all, I think about the Biden's visit. I think it was a bit careless and dangerous. There was no need for him to go. And for 40 hours, 20 hours, he's on the train. I mean, a lot of happened. Imagine if something happened by accident or by collateral. If they hit the train, they don't even know he's there. What are we supposed to do? Then declare nuclear war on? That's okay, don't it? You know what I'm saying? So that'd be a major step up. Yeah,
in force.
Yeah. God forbid if there's something happen. This is our president. We'll have to react in a certain way. You understand? But it's all about money, Free. At the end of the day, it's a lot of weapons being sold.
Yeah, that's the only reason
it's all about money.
Republicans are on board with this.
It's the industrial military complex. They're making money. The war in Afghanistan just finished. They need to make money to keep the stock going up and keep revenues going. What I'm telling you is, right now, when you're in distress and you're getting aid from a third country like the United States, you're not negotiating the price of the products you get in. They're just giving you products at the price they want to do. For example, I told you, if a shotgun, whatever, if a sniper rifle costs $300 in value in the market, they're probably getting it for $900. Because you know what I'm saying? Because it's almost taxpayers' money. We're more thieves than they are, our people. You understand? That's why I don't like them. They say, "Oh, we just get $40 billion." 40, that's a lot of money. Imagine $40 billion is like the a whole year worth of weapons for some countries. You understand?
Yeah.
That's the whole issue we have. Eventually, we're going to defeat not defeat, but we're going to bleed it to death there. And it's going to withdraw from Georgia and all those countries in the end. And I hope when this guy's gone, they're going to embrace, bring him to the fold.
Yeah.
But I hate when they become friends. You need a third pole. What's that called? A pole? What do they call them? Power struggle. Because remember when last we had 2 wars because there's nobody to stop us in the United Nations. There was no competitor. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need somebody to keep you on your toe. But anyway, whatever happens. I told you we found people willing to die for our cause. That's all it is.
Yeah.
America is gonna fight to the last Ukrainian. You know what I'm saying? All right, well, you want to go? You want to add something to it?
No, because we've still got tons of articles.
Yeah, I feel good. We could go over.